Atmetochilus Songsangchotei, or however you call them. Atmetochilus Songsangchotei. I don't know how you pronounce the name. This is going to be fun. Hello, good morning, good day, good afternoon, and I hope you're well wherever you happen to be in this world. Pop it down, comment down below, let me know where you are in this world. But anyway, yeah, I am the Invertabarian. Thank you for joining us here today on the channel. As I say, I hope you're all doing really well. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing, and if you're already subscribed, you're absolutely freaking awesome. So, today's video is one I've been really excited about doing for a wee while. So I'm not going to blether on to the camera for too long. We're just going to get right down to it because we are doing 3 rehousings. They are all the same species, but they are absolutely fascinating. So let's get down to it. Let's look at them. Let's learn a little bit about them, and then let's get them into their new homes. I'm so excited for this one. Let's go. First thing that's most evident from this is I really need to dust my shelving more often. But 1, 2, 3. So these are the 3 we are rehousing today. I love these spiders. These spiders are awesome. We got them from the spider shop. We did have 4 originally. Sadly, 1 didn't make it. We still have these 3, but they're growing on a wee bit. And what I want to do is put them into new enclosures. These are, and I cannot pronounce this, Atmetochilus Songsangchotei. Somebody correct me. Probably wrong, but something like that. These are an Asian, quite common throughout Asia and Africa. They are fascinating spiders to keep, which I'll go into in a little moment. So what do we need to know about these guys? They are from the They are from the Bemeridae family, which is a group of funnelwebs. They are a megalomorph spider, which were first described in 1903. They were evaluated to their own subfamily of funnelweb trapdoor spiders in 1985 before eventually becoming their own family in 2020. And there's one right there. You can't really see it all that well. So what makes these guys so fascinating? Hopefully I can find a good example within one of these tubes. I think this one actually had possibly the best example, but the camera can't pick it up. So this one here is more open for us to see. So we'll see what it's done is it's created a tunnel down to the ground layer. But into the side of that, if we can find a good example, unfortunately it's not easy inside these vial containers, and you can't really make it out, but through there is a hole. It's a whole other little chamber. So what they do is they hide inside a secondary chamber, so it's almost a tunnel within a tunnel. But I just find it absolutely fascinating how they do that. There's, if I'm not mistaken, I think that one is, there we go. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here. So what you can actually see just at the back there is very difficult to see, but you can actually see its legs sitting just outside the entrance to the secondary tunnel, which goes in and round the back here. So it's got this whole other tunnel system. So they would come up through here, or food items would fall down into here and be trapped, and they could pop out of their secondary little tunnel. See it just there. I don't know how well you can make it out on the camera. There we go. You can see its legs poking out of its secondary tunnel just there. But I wonder and think to myself, if they had more room, how elaborate would these tunnel systems be? And that brings us to the reason for today's video. All 3 of these are going to go into bigger enclosures. 2 are going into this kind of enclosure up the back here, and 1 is going into a much bigger enclosure. So let's have a wee look at those enclosures. So we have enclosure 1. Some decorations out the jumping spider enclosure. Some lovely moss there that will hopefully root and grow, and then some weed out the garden basically, just to try and give it a sort of almost naturalistic look, and lots of space for it to bury down and hopefully create these tunnels. Moving across into number 2, a very similar theme, but try to make it a little bit different. So again, we've got the substrate for burying down into, we've got this sort of central piece of lovely wood there, and we've kind of poked some moss into the crack that was on it, popped a wee plant in there, and again some pieces of moss that will hopefully grow and spread and give it a nice naturalistic look. So that's our 2 smaller enclosures that we're going to be using. We have also created as much of a natural environment in here as we could possibly do. You may recognise this tank. Sadly, it was from my ant colony that just failed miserably for whatever reason. Don't really want to go into that because it sucks. But anyway, into this one we've gone a little bit more over the top, I suppose you could say. We've got some lovely mosses. Hopefully, as I say, these will grow and spread and sort of connect themselves to stuff. We've got some grass basically, and a few different types of plants that will hopefully thrive in there, and the decorative piece that came from the spider shop, and I'd imagine it will probably immediately dart in under there to make that its home. So we've seen the homes, we've seen their old homes. I suppose what we really want to try and do is see the very spiders that we're speaking about. Being a funnelweb species, it's fairly obvious to say that a bite from a full-grown specimen of one of these would be not advised. Again, there it is with its legs just poking out of its secondary tunnel there. I know the spider shop have a disclaimer, and they also state that they will only sell these to people with purchasing history and they feel have the knowledge to keep them sensibly and correctly. So again, look at that nice big tunnel down into there, going into the secondary tunnel. So we're actually just going to try and pull as much of that out as we can, because we want to try and have a wee look at our spider before it goes into its new enclosure. And just look how stunning that spider is. Now, it's still relatively small, still got a bit of growing to go, but it just looks like a little battle tank. It looks like a tough wee cookie. You would not want to be on the receiving end of an angry one of these. So now we get the first one into its new home. So let's just get the camera angled up. You're not going in there. You, sir or lady, can go into this one here. That fits just perfectly into there. Maybe pop that away. There we go, and we are in. Not entirely sure where, but we are in. Probably be easier if I zoomed out a little bit. There we go. I think it actually is right there. Kind of where I wanted it to go anyway. It was into there. So there we go. That is the first one into its new enclosure. I cannot wait to see how they use this new space with their tunnels, whether it'll be one central tunnel. I don't know whether they will do one central tunnel like this, I don't know if it'll be one tunnel, there it is, heading down into a chamber, or if they've got more space, will they create multiple entrances and exits? That is going to be the exciting part of this. So this one here really did not want to be found. Master of hide and seek. It was wrapped up in this little sort of little cocoon, and when I was going through all the substrate, I was starting to wonder if I'd somehow let it escape, but there was a solid little mass, so very carefully picked it apart, and we have found the sneaky hide and seeker. This is number 2, and you'll see I generally keep them quite damp. I've found they seem to not mind it too much. I probably could let them dry out a bit, but it's worked so far, keeping them relatively high humidity, so I don't want to stop doing it in case it causes them sort of negative reaction. So for the meantime, I will try and keep them as this sort of quite damp, humid. Again, if people have any comments as to how they keep them, if you happen to keep them, please pop below. But for me, certainly keeping them at quite a high level of humidity seems to be doing quite well. We are in, and that actually gives us a much better picture than the last one. There's a sort of almost plumish colour to the abdomen, but just look at the armour around that carapace. But that's number 2 done. Now we just need to find and rehouse number 3. So number 3 is going into the biggest of the enclosures. Hopefully that's not going to prove to be a mistake. I'm hoping it will still thrive and do really well. It'll be really interesting to see compared to the other 2. So we're just going to find this one very quickly. So there is the last of our beauties that won't focus. I'll notice they kind of hunch themselves up so they can hide in the smallest possible space available, but they soon open up and run off. Then we go, and I'm looking forward to seeing where I thought it might go straight under there. Kind of hoped it would go straight under there. Hopefully as they create tunnels we'll be able to see the tunnels from all with this being glass and these being perspex, hopefully or acrylic, hopefully we'll be able to see these tunnels created all the way around. That's my hope anyway. That is them right there. Big one, 2 smaller ones. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how, if they choose to utilise this space. Now obviously in the little vial pots, there's only really space for one tunnel and a side passage. But it'll be interesting to see in these bigger enclosures if they choose to create multiple tunnels, perhaps all linking into one sort of den. I don't know, but I'm really excited to see how that works out, or whether they'll just again create one tunnel, one side passage. Do you keep these guys? That's what I want to know. Is there anybody else that keeps them? How do you keep them? Any hints, tips or recommendations? As I say, I keep mine relatively, you can see the dog staring out the window in reflection there. Dog, move. Yep, you, staring back at me. Big stilly beast. Anyway, ignore the dog. It looks like I've got a tiny little dog's head inside this enclosure, but ignore the dog. Do you keep them? How do you keep yours? I keep mine quite damp, quite high humidity, but perhaps you've discovered you could keep them much drier than that. Pop your comments down below, share the information, share the knowledge we have on them, because I've not come across too many people that actually keep these spiders, so I'd be really interested to get information from other people who happen to keep them and share experiences. This is my experience. Start with 4, have 3. Seem to be doing really well, and yeah, absolutely fascinating. In the meantime, of course, be good, be kind, and most importantly, take care of yourselves, take care of others, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please do subscribe, comments down below, and we'll see you next time. Thank you ever so much. Bye bye.